I discovered my best friend had been pretending to be me for years, and it completely shattered our friendship. I realized my best friend had been lying to me for years when I saw my own name pop up in her phone, attached to messages I never sent. It was a random Tuesday night. I was on her couch, half asleep, scrolling through TikTok while she showered. Her phone buzzed beside me. I didn't mean to look. I really didn't. But my name lit up the screen, and the preview said, "I can't believe she said that about you." My stomach dropped. Because I hadn't said anything about anyone, and definitely not whatever that was. Before I could stop myself, I unlocked her phone. I knew her passcode. We'd been friends since we were 15, and she never changed it. What I found unraveled nearly a decade of my life. For background, I'm 26F. My best friend, Lily, is also 26F. We met on the first day of high school when she tripped over her own backpack and knocked me into a locker. We both started laughing, and that was it. Instant friendship. We were inseparable. Sleepovers. Matching Halloween costumes. Crying in bathroom stalls over bad grades and worse crushes. When my parents divorced, she was the one who sat with me while I packed up my childhood bedroom. When her mom got sick, I practically lived at her house, helping with chores and babysitting her younger siblings. Everyone called us the twins, even though we looked nothing alike. After graduation, we moved into an apartment together. Tiny kitchen, squeaky floors, and a bathroom door that wouldn't close unless you lifted it slightly. It was cramped, messy, and perfect. We built our adult lives side by side. First real jobs. First serious relationships. First big heartbreaks. So when I say I trusted her completely, I mean that without hesitation. The message thread I opened was between Lily and my coworker, Ben. Ben and I had always gotten along. Friendly, casual work friendship. Occasional jokes. Nothing deep. At least, that's what I thought. But the messages weren't from me. They were from Lily, pretending to be me. Not just once. 4 years. She had created a fake contact with my name and profile picture. She used it to send messages to people we both knew. Sometimes harmless. Sometimes not. There were long conversations with Ben where I complained about coworkers, vented about friends, and even flirted a little. Things I had never said. There were chats with a girl I'd had a falling out with, where I apologized in a tone that made me sound desperate and unstable. There were messages to my ex, making it seem like I was still hung up on him months after I'd moved on. And scattered throughout were dozens of small lies. Tiny comments that shifted people's perceptions of me just slightly. Enough to tilt things in her favor. I sat frozen on the couch, scrolling and scrolling, my chest tight, ears ringing. When Lily came back from the shower, towel wrapped around her hair, humming softly, I was still holding her phone. Her face drained of color instantly. "Why are you on my phone?" she asked. "Why are you pretending to be me?" I said. Silence. Thick. Crushing. "I can explain," she whispered. "We stayed up all night." She cried. A lot. Apologized. Swore she never meant to hurt me. Said it started as a stupid joke, replying to someone once when they texted her thinking she was me, just to mess with them, then it spiraled. She admitted she liked feeling closer to my life. Liked knowing what people thought about me. Liked controlling how others saw me. "Sometimes it felt like I was borrowing your identity," she said, voice shaking. Like trying on a different version of myself. I stared at her, numb. "Do you realize how messed up that is?" "I know," she sobbed. "I hate myself for it." The thing was, I didn't doubt her pain. She genuinely seemed horrified by her own actions. But the damage was already done. The fallout was brutal. Ben stopped talking to me completely. A friend from college messaged asking why I'd said such cruel things about her. My ex sent a confused text asking if I was okay. I spent weeks cleaning up lies I hadn't told. Worse than the social damage was the emotional betrayal. Every memory I had with Lily started to feel poisoned. Every late-night confession, every tearful hug, I wondered how much of it was real. I moved out 2 months later. We tried to salvage the friendship. Therapy. Long talks. Boundaries. But something fundamental had broken. Then came the twist I never saw coming. 6 months after I moved out, I got a message from Lily's younger sister, Mia. "Can we talk? There's something you deserve to know." We met at a coffee shop. Mia looked nervous, stirring her drink so aggressively it sloshed over the edge. "She did it to me too," she said quietly. My chest tightened. Did what? The fake messages. The pretending. The lying. She's been doing it since we were kids. Apparently, Lily had created fake accounts to message me as friends, shaping their opinions. She'd sent cruel messages from fake profiles to isolate her during middle school. She'd even pretended to be Mia once, sending embarrassing messages to a boy she liked, then comforted her afterward. "She said it was to protect me," Mia whispered. "To teach me how people really are." But it just made me feel crazy. I sat there in shock. This wasn't a mistake. Or a phase. Or a one-time lapse in judgment. It was a pattern. And suddenly, everything clicked. Looking back, I started seeing the cracks I'd ignored. How Lily always seemed to know exactly what people had said about me, even when I hadn't told her. How conflicts between friends somehow always ended with her as the emotional center. How I often felt subtly guilty around her, like I was always just a little bit wrong. I'd brushed it off as closeness. As intuition. As loyalty. But it wasn't. It was control. I confronted her one last time. She denied nothing. "I don't know how to stop," she admitted. "It's like I need to be inside everyone's story. If I'm not, I feel invisible." I told her I couldn't be part of her life anymore. She begged. Promised therapy. Promised change. Promised honesty. I believed her, in the way you believe someone who truly means what they're saying in that moment. But I still walked away. It's been a year now. Some days, I miss her terribly. There's a lily-shaped hole in my life where a decade of memories used to live. I still catch myself wanting to text her when something funny happens. Or sad. Other days, I feel lighter than I ever did before. I've learned how much of myself I shrank to fit inside that friendship. How often I doubted my own instincts. How much emotional labor I gave without realizing it. The hardest part is accepting that someone can love you deeply and still hurt you profoundly. And that sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is let go, even when it breaks your heart.